Will her strategy of refusing to talk about it eventually make it go away? We report and you decide. Chief Washington correspondent Jim Angle tells us what Pelosi would talk about today.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, fresh from a trip to China, said she promised Chinese leaders Congress will stop spending money it doesn't have and will go to something called pay-go, meaning pay as you go.
Whatever we're going forward with, we have to know how it is paid for or what offsets there are or what it substitutes for. But the point that I was making is the commitment to deficit reduction.
The Chinese have been worried because they hold some $1.4 trillion in U.S. debt, and if the U.S. were to continue borrowing at the rate we're going, China fears interest rates would rise, followed by inflation, which would make the pile of U.S. debt the Chinese hold worth less and less. The real focus of Speaker Pelosi's trip to China was not the economic crisis or even human rights, an issue she's previously emphasized. Though now that she's back, she did show a letter she's sending to Chinese President Hu Jintao calling for the release of 10 political prisoners. While in China, though, the emphasis was on U.S. legislation to reduce carbon emissions, which a House committee just passed.
It equipped us with the assurance to the Chinese that action will be taken by the Congress of the United States.
Though it is not clear what action China is willing to take. But they certainly made Pelosi feel at home. Those who accompanied her said no one could remember a lawmaker ever getting treated so well.
The Chinese government received the Speaker in the same fashion that they would receive a head of state.
The sole Republican on the trip does not support legislation to limit carbon emissions, saying the real solution is new technologies. But he said all the investment necessary to produce them won't work unless China agrees not to steal them.
China has had a pretty lousy record in enforcing other people's intellectual property rights.
When Ms. Pelosi departed Washington for China, her charges the CIA had lied to her and to Congress were still hanging in the air. Republican leader John Boehner said today her charges won't go away.
Either offer proof that our intelligence professionals lied to her, or she should retract that statement and offer an apology. And to date, she's done neither.
Sources say Pelosi continues to get briefed by the CIA, apparently without complaint. She isn't talking about it, but Boehner and others say this issue will not die until she puts it to rest. In Washington, Jim Angle, Fox News.